I love open plan living because it gives me one key, very important piece of influence. And I think an island is one of the only pieces of furniture that's detached from the architecture. So it allows a bit of fluid artistic influence to come in. So it's not confined by anything. It could be curved, cantilevered, floating. There's loads of things you can do with an island. So I don't think that's going to disappear. There's this broken plan living. I think it's a bit of a buzzword at the moment. To be perfectly honest with you, I actually think it's the responsibility of KBB designers to always consider broken plan living within an open plan environment. All we really need as KBB designers is the architect to give us a space. Don't let the architect put any walls in that space at all, because that's my field. I will look after sight lines and all the disruption of that space. I always argue that tall wall space helps to define a kitchen design, because that's really big cumbersome items like fridges and larders. Sight lines are also important. But in that, if you have a section of tall cabinetry, it doesn't necessarily have to be placed against a wall. But if you have a big, large space, you can disrupt that space by introducing tall cabinetry in a way that it almost segments the room. And what it does is it actually future-proofs the environment for the end user. So the consumer or the person who lives there, it's much easier to move a bit of furniture or a bit of cabinetry as opposed to knocking down walls. Those things are important, but had to work at home. You've had to immediately, someone's going to call you and say, you have to find a backdrop. Quiet space as well. You need place without disruption. So that's going to be the difficult part with an open plan kitchen. Maybe a bedroom or even a utility room or some space that's architecturally confined and smaller, maybe a good place to consider a home office. Certainly the open plan, I think there's still going to be a great demand for it. I don't necessarily think that people's going to just immediately go the opposite direction. But I do think there's going to be an awareness of, maybe introduction of a bookshelf or some sort of partition or something that will break up the space a little bit, but it will be probably still set in an open plan environment. This way, it's the opportunity for KBB designers to take control of that, because if we don't, architects will. Then the other flip side of that is manufacturers, because manufacturers of furniture things will have to keep up with that demand. Well, they may have to diversify part of their manufacturing facility into doing something different, maybe a bespoke section that will allow them to do, bookshelves, console tables, partitions, those sorts of things. Like a big thing now will be the likes of crystal door partitions, bringing like an industrial vibe into maybe a contemporary set and mixing it up that way. Wouldn't be stamping an absolute on us walking away from open plan living. I think there's a lot of benefits with it, and I think people will find it hard to give those up if they've experienced them. But yes, they will be maybe looking at maybe smaller areas to separate slightly, and even other areas of the home they may develop to allow them to have home offices and things. But yes, being adaptable is going to be the new norm, I suppose. People are open to new ideas now. They want to change their home environment. They want to make it better, more functional. And you know what? If you really put your thinking cap on, there's great opportunities for clients, designers, and for businesses.